Out of the dim recesses of the self, the occult seeker into the open came. So he was there behind the ape-like man, trying to come out, come out, come out, come out, come out, come out. You see, now he has come out. He has become now the seeker into the open. You see, man. He heard afar and touched the intangible. He gazed into the future and the unseen. He used the powers earth instruments cannot use. He used the powers earth instruments cannot use. That is the yogic power he has received, you see. Just yogic power, you see. In fact, that is what he did. He used the powers earth instruments cannot use. The whole world is under his command. All the forces of nature, cosmic and the earthly, they are under his command. A pastime made of the impossible. He caught up fragments of the omniscience thought, he scattered formulas of omnipotence. So he has already now, this man who has grown up to this point here, he has the elements of omniscience and omnipotence in him present. He is not aware to them, well, that is his fault. But they are there. And he can use these powers which the earth instruments cannot use. Thus man in his little house made of earth or dust. Now thus man, you see, he has described the entire history of mankind, of man. Growth of the mental being, he has described in just few sentences. Thus man in his little house made of earth's dust grew towards an unseen heaven of thought and dream, looking into the vast vistas of his mind on a small globe dotting infinity. Yes, that is the earth. Small release, a point basically, if you see the entire astronomical universe, you see. A small globe dotting, but that is a significant dot. You see, this is a unique dot also. It is that dot alone which can look at infinity. Which can look at it. It is not there elsewhere. There is something very special about this globe, this dot. Earth is a significant center, as Shivandu says, created for a special purpose. In order to concentrate the process of evolution, created in order to concentrate, to focus the process of evolution. If it is done here, then things can be done in their own way elsewhere. It is not that they are repeated elsewhere. That is important. It is not that this kind of life and growth will be repeated elsewhere. There is no fun in that. But each object, each dot of infinity has its own uniqueness. It is that which will get expressed if this happens first here on earth. The sun, it has its own uniqueness. Mars, it has its own uniqueness. All the galaxies, Andromeda, whatever you want to call them, they have their own specific purpose, content, personality, character, svabhava. And it is that which will get expressed if things can be worked out here upon earth. It is not that you are repeating the same process elsewhere. It is not a copy-paste mechanism at all, you see. It cannot be. It's meaningless also, you see. It has to have its own dynamism of evolution and growth and opening out of the divine possibilities in it, you see. So if it can happen on earth, it will happen in their own way, for their own fulfillment elsewhere. That's the whole idea. Looking into the vast vistas of his mind on a small globe dotting infinity, at last climbing a long and narrow stair, he stood alone on a high roof of tin and saw the light of a spiritual sun. All the great rishis who had done great tapasya and seen and achieved their spiritual realization. It is out of this man, out of this obscure beginning of the mental being, that this has happened so far. The spiritual man has already arrived. He saw the light. That is important. Saw the light. They aspired for immortality. They attained immortality. Now the question is, can the spiritual sun, that light, come here upon us? That's the whole thing. Aspiring, he transcends his earthly self. Well, from Mrityu to Amrita, from light, from darkness to light, from falsehood to truth. Asatoma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotir gamaya, mrityor ma amrutam gamaya. This is what has happened. Yes, from death to immortality, let me climb, climb, climb. Now the question is, all right, from death to immortality, can immortality enter into this process and change death? Can truth enter into the process and change falsehood? Can light enter into this and bring light to darkness? That is one thing. So that is the prospect now Savitri is seeing. Aspiring, he transcends his earthly self. He stands in the largeness of his soul, newborn, redeemed from encirclement by mortal things, and moves in a pure, free spiritual realm as in the rare breath of a stratosphere. This is what happens to the spiritual man, the Rishi. He is immortal. He is enjoying bliss and happiness in the stratosphere, breadth of stratosphere in the scientific language. It is that region which starts from a height of 20 kilometers to 50 kilometers. There are different regions above, see. Means you are far away from the earthly. Then a lost end of far lines of divinity, he bound by a frail thread to his high source. He reaches his fount of immortality. He called the Godhead into his mortal life. This is what the great spiritual aspirants, the rishis, the tapasvins, they have achieved. The sages, this is what they have achieved. A lost end of far lines of divinity. Lines of divinity, you see, they are there everywhere. But then they got lost here now in ignorance, wherefrom the mental being has come. They got lost those ends. Each one has its own end, but it got lost. Beauty, it got lost in this world. Knowledge, power, all these ends which are there, these lines which are there of divinity, they got lost here in this creation of ignorance.
You have to find them back.
Huh? They will come back. Yeah. But because of that, beauty is lost here. But then something like an aesthetic soul appreciation opens out and you start climbing up, climbing up. You take that thread and start moving up. The aesthetic soul then starts climbing up. Knowledge, it is in ignorance, but then more and more it opens out to discernment, intuition, inspiration, revelation. You start climbing up like that, you see. These are the last end, a last end of far lines. These are the lines of divinity. He mounted by frail thread. You see, that's the whole thing. A little thing, some aesthetic appreciation of music, of art, or whatever it is there, and you catch hold of that thing, make that thing as your tool, and make progress, 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 you see. He reaches his fount of immortality. The perfection starts coming up then, you see, fount of immortality. He calls the Godhead into his mortal life. It is by that the statue of Praxiteles, you have got a very beautiful statue standing there for centuries. Now they are perfection creations. Always there, you see, in stone and marble, you see. Something has opened out in him. He calls the Godhead into it. So she is seated there all the while in the statue, Athena, you see. Go around and look around here and she's there. All this the Spirit conceived had done in her. So this whole description of 88 sentences of the dream consciousness is for what? Is that Godhead entering into mortal life, climbing on the frail thread to high source. So Savitri saw in the stream of consciousness the entire sequence, entire growth, the Titan, the Furies, the jinns, everybody she saw, and now she is seeing rishis and tapaswin who have achieved the great necessity. So this all this the Spirit conceived had done in her. Her stands for Savitri. It is for the first time now in this entire description, after 88 sentences, we are coming back to Savitri. Now, see how careful, how perfect, how exact the yogi is. All the Spirit concealed, yes, all this was hidden by this. Had done in her, done, that is the most important thing. It is not that Savitri is simply seeing and watching. She is undergoing the entire experience of this evolution, done in her. That is the great merit of it. It is not like a book, you have read it, wonderful. She saw like a dream. No, she has experienced that thing in her. A kind of an identity with the evolutionary goddess. It is that which Savitri has achieved, the goddess of evolution. It is with her Savitri has identified and seen these things. Done in her. You see, it's the most beautiful phrase, very powerful phrase. Done in her. He doesn't say all this Spirit concealed, she saw in her. No, not saw, done. In other words, that is the rate, that is the speed with which Savitri's yoga is progressing. She got the command, go and find out your soul. Harbor my force in your soul and conquer death. That was the Adesha, command she got. And the first realization of Savitri is the realization, yogic realization is that she has now seen the entire cosmic past. She has not only seen but experienced, lived to the entire cosmic past. She has lived to the entire cosmic past. That is the yoga Savitri has done. And what is the fruit of that yoga? She has experienced that thing now. What is the fruit of that? The fruit of that is a portion of the mighty mother came into her. That is the siddhi. Savitri has done the yoga, she got a fruit of it. That suddenly a portion of the mighty mother, the divine Savitri, mighty mother here of course, the divine Savitri herself. It is a part of her who has now entered into Savitri's human part. That's the most beautiful thing that has happened. A portion of the mighty mother came into her as into its own human part. So here again, it's very clear, as into its own human part. Savitri is the incarnation of that mighty mother. It opens out that thing into its own human part. That is Savitri, the human, the incarnate. In other words, this mighty mother has incarnated herself into the human Savitri here. And in the human state, she has now this yogic realization of identifying with the cosmic past and the future also. Into her, into its own human part. Amid the cosmic working to the gods, it marked her the center of a wide drawn scheme. Now, this portion of the mighty mother came for what? Not for nothing. It has a work to do. It marked her the center of a scheme. The portion came with a purpose. Look, Savitri, this is what I want now to be done. Into her as into its own human part, amid the cosmic working to the gods. So it is not the gods who will be able to do that thing. It is human Savitri, the incarnate Savitri, who alone can do it. Gods, yes, they are there to help you and all that. But ultimately, this is something which you have to do. And look, I am here in you. And do it. It marked her the center of a wide drawn scheme, dreamed in the passion of her passing spirit to mold humanity. What is she dreaming? In the passion of her spirit. She has marked her at the center to do something in the wide drawn scheme. What is the wide drawn scheme? To mold humanity into God's own shape. That is a part of the scheme. To mold humanity into God's own shape and lead this great, blind, struggling world to light. Great, blind, struggling. That is what we are, you see. The ignorant creatures that we are, you see. Anityam, Asokam, that is what the Gita says. Anityam, transient, Asokam, sorrowful. This sorrowful and transient world, blind, struggling world, you see. Anityam, Asokam, transient and sorrowful. To light or a new world discover or create. Now, this is something very charged. In fact, these three lines. The future of human race, the future of evolution. He has described three things here. Change humanity into God's shape. From below above. Change humanity in God's shape. For what? Etc. Yeah, that we are not. Change humanity into God's own shape. That is one thing. If that cannot happen, then discover a new world. If humanity cannot change, then please go and discover a new world, which might be waiting for something to happen. If the new world does not exist, create a new world.
Humanity has to create.
Well, at this stage, this is possible. Humanity has to change into God's shape. If it does not happen, okay, go ahead and discover a new world. If new world does not exist, okay, go ahead and create a new world. But this has to happen. You have to go beyond the human. This is a must.
But the man creates the new world or discovers the new world.
Yeah, create. That is what she's saying to Savitri. Her portion has come. Okay, Savitri, you don't find a new world, create a new world.
Oh.
Or
Or.
twice.
See, these three hours are important. Or mold humanity, or discover a new world, or create a new world. What will happen, that he is not telling at the moment.
Isn't creating a new world more difficult than to mold humanity into Godship?
Yeah, means if this cannot change, if humanity is stupid, cannot change at all, forget about it, but bring somehow that new world here.
Yeah, but then the new world, which doesn't even exist, maybe it may be more difficult to create that.
You forget about it. You see, if humanity is not going to serve the divine purpose, dispense it off.
You mean let it
Forget about it and bring another one, that's all.
let it die and do something new?
Forget, who cares?
He's right.
Who cares?
It means so, and
Yeah.
so,
If humanity is not capable of changing, ignore it, forget it, dispose it off.
let it go to hell.
Let it go anywhere. Dissolve it. Dissolve it. But the point is, if humanity is not capable at all, then, well, you don't have to be in love with such humanity. For what? Why do you want to love such humanity then?
Some are capable and
If it is not capable, then forget about it. Don't love it.
yeah, but maybe only some are capable.
That is another matter. He is giving you a possibility. If humanity cannot change, ignore it, forget it.
There are three options, three possibilities.
Yeah, that is one. First, he is opening out the possibility of humanity going to do all these things. That prospect is kept in front of humanity. But if humanity fails, you need not be in love with such a humanity.
Exactly. We are not.
Yeah. Or, so therefore, forget about humanity in that case, and then create a new world. Okay, all gods, goddesses, what do you want to call it? Create a new world out of it. They don't exist? Okay, bring them. Or discover a new world if it exists elsewhere, in other places.
In other universes.
Yeah. Or new world. Discover a new world and bring that world here if you like, or whatever you see. So all these three options are kept open in the stream of consciousness through which Savitri is presently going. What will happen? That is not said at this point. Whether humanity will be discarded, whether a new world will be discovered, whether a new world will be created, that is not disclosed at this point.
Everything is possible.
No, yeah, well, see, a new world, discover a new world,
Sure, then anything can happen.
or create a new world. Actually, that is exactly what has happened. Create a new world.
What happened?
It has already actually happened.
The new world
This
has
is
been
what Ashtapadi had done in his yoga. He created a new world in the transcendent, in the house of the spirit. Book 3, Canto 3. A marvelous and new creation arose. You know that line. A marvelous and new creation arose. He created by his yogic power a new world. That is the tapasya, that is the yoga of Ashtapati. He has created. Actually, it has to be so. Nothing can happen here unless something is already present in the transcendent. If there has to be a new world here, look, you have to have something first up there supporting what is going to be here. Supporting in the transcendent. In Sachidananda, that world has to be present first. Then only it can be here, not otherwise. He has created a new world. In fact, that is what the yogi has done. Ashtapadi yoga means that basically. He climbs up the entire ladder of consciousness. In the transcendent, he assembles, so to say, or creates a new world there. this supramental world, it is there now ready. It is there now ready. Now the question is, Ashwapati's question is, look, I have done my job as far as Ashwapati is concerned. But I can't bring that world down here. It's there. I have done my job there. Who can bring it down? Only the divine power. Only Savitri. Therefore, he approaches the divine Savitri and tells her, please, madam, take birth and bring this world down. I have created this world. That world has to come down. It is you alone who can do that. Savitri alone can do that thing here. That is the division of responsibility of job. He has created a new world. To bring that new world into manifestation here is the job of Savitri. Shivandu has already created a new world. To bring that new world here is the job of the mother. It is the job of the mother. She has to do that thing. Create a new world. He has done that thing at this point, you see. Then only, all right, to whatever extent is possible, humanity will be absorbed, will be developed, etc., because of that. If it is not there, discover a new world. So at this point, Savitri is saying, because the mighty mother has come into her now, Savitri is saying all these three openings. Let the humanity grow. In fact, this is what we read just now from the mother, from below, from above, you see. Let the humanity grow. If it cannot grow and step into that, let something happen from above, create a new world and bring it down. See. So these things is what the dream of Savitri is arriving at. The new opening. The yoga of Savitri has advanced to this point already within a few hours. You see. In fact, this whole thing is summarized here now in these two lines.